Hello everyone. In today's webinar, we are going to see the MWF improvement features that has been added in our latest build for our wood module. These features are for notching options, lifting holes, markers, opening markers, hole series, member positioning, and shop drawings. The first feature that we are going to look at is for notching. Notching has been added a few builds ago, but in this new build, we have added some improvements. So the first one is that in this new build, we can apply notches when members are clashing with header. And whenever we also enable the cripples, we will have this option for cripple notch side. In this new build, you can apply these notches on both ends, top end. So when we say top, it means at the intersection between the top of the cripples and the top track, and also top of the cripple and the seal, bottom of the cripple with the header, and bottom of the cripple with the bottom track, and headers and seal. Cripple with the header and cripple with the seal. Now let's switch to Revit and take a closer look at this option. We just need to select any member of our panel. Let's go to Properties, Miscellaneous tab, and when we scroll down, we can find Notching. Click on Edit, and Notching dialog box will pop up. The first thing that we need to do is to activate notching. When we activate notching, all the options will become available. On the bottom, we have all the member types, and the last one is for cripples. We just need to check cripples. You can apply the notch depth. So let's say, for example, 1/2 inch. And here we have cripple notch side. It can be applied to both sides, top, bottom, and headers and seal. When we add these changes here, if you would like to check the preview for it, you just need to click on Apply, and these changes will be saved and it will be applied to the sample preview that we have here on the side. The notching has been applied to the top and bottom of the top cripples and the bottom cripples. Now let's click on OK and OK, just to take a closer look on our panel. Here, the notching is applied at all the intersections between cripples and the other members of our panel. Now let's go back to our panel's properties and in Miscellaneous tab for notching. This time, instead of applying it to both, we can apply it to bottom. Bottom and top are almost the same, but the opposite. So let's click on bottom, and when we click on apply, you see that the notching has been just applied to the bottom of the cripples at the intersection with the header and with the bottom track. So let's click on OK and OK. And this is how it will be applied to our panel. And the last option that we are going to take a look at is for the headers and the seal. So back to notching, and we are just going to select the last option here, headers and seal. Let's click on Apply. You will see the changes here on the preview. You can also extend the window. You can also zoom in. And then you can click on OK and OK to check it on your panel. So the good thing about the preview for our notching tool is that you don't need to click on OK and regenerate your panel every time that you add your settings. You can just click on Apply, zoom in on the preview. Let's try that again. Zoom in on the preview, check the changes that you have added in there, and if that is what you were looking for, then you can click on OK, regenerate your panel, and keep those changes. The next panel that we are going to look at is panel number 2. As you might remember, whenever we have a bearing beam on top of our panel for our header, you won't be able to apply notches to that bearing beam. So if we want to check it, we just need to go back to our panel's properties, Miscellaneous tab, Notching. Let's activate notching. We are going to apply the notching for the cripples. Again, we can say 1/2 inch. And let's say header and seal. When we click on apply, the preview is showing us the same panel that we are looking at. If I zoom in, no notching has been applied to the bearing beam that we have on top of our panel. So let's click on OK and OK. And same changes are applied here in the model. No notching on the top and notching just between the cripples and the seal on panel number 2. The next feature that has recently been added is notching the clashing members that we have on our panel. Now, if I zoom in, when we select this member here, you will see that this small header is clashing with the bearing header that we have on top of our opening. We can also switch to wireframe to check this clash better. But if we want to notch the member, we just need to select any member of our panel in our panel's properties, miscellaneous tab. In notching, first again, like always, we need to activate the option for notching, and then we can select to notch members clashing headers. But this is not the last step. We also need to make sure that we enable headers. We don't need to add any notch depth because this value is calculated automatically based on the clash that we have in our model. Now we can click on OK and OK. I zoom in, the notch has been added to the header that we have here. You can also switch back to shaded. Another situation that this might happen is here, when the clash is between the bearing header and our top track. Again, we can go back to our panel's properties, miscellaneous tab and notching. Let's activate notching, activate notch members, clashing headers, and make sure to also enable headers. Let's click on OK and OK. And the notch will be applied to our top track. The next feature that we are going to look at is lifting holes. This new feature is added for lifting holes style B. Like any other lifting hole type that we have, we can apply the same set of settings on both ends of our panel. We can have different hole diameters for the hole in bay and hole and opening. When there's an opening in your panel, it will switch the hole diameters, it will change the hole depth, and it will also apply the tolerance. And the lifting placement method can be based on center of gravity or user-selected stud. When we select center of gravity, the offset from gravity can be calculated by length. So when this is 2 feet 6 inches, it's going to be 2 feet 6 inches from the center of gravity, or by percent. When we select percent, the length of the panel is going to be calculated by percent that you are adding here. And when we switch to user selected stud, the bay option here will be activated and you will be able to select the bay. Now let's switch back to our Revit to take a look at this in MWF. Here we have this panel. Let's go to our panel's properties. In miscellaneous tab, you can apply lifting holes to double headers or just single headers. Let's go to tracks and maybe uncheck double top track. Sorry, I said header, but I meant track. Let's click on OK. And then we have this lifting hole option here. For the lifting hole, we always need to select style A. If I switch this one back to none, you won't be able to click on edit. You will be able to click on edit, but nothing will pop up. So please make sure that you always switch to style A. Let's click on edit here. We are going to apply the same set of settings at both ends. That's why this option is checked here. Style B is the last option that we have here in our drop-down menu. The hole diameter for base is 1.5 inch. And for holes at openings, the hole diameter is 1 inch, the depth is 2 inches, and the tolerance is 4 inches. The lifting placement method is based on the center of gravity, and we are going to apply this by percent. So it's going to be placed on 30% of the length of our panel from the center of gravity. So let's click on OK and OK. We won't be able to check it in the shaded view. I can either select the member and you will see the holes here, or we can switch to wireframe. They will just show up. So this is 30% of the length of our panel from the center of gravity. Let's save this setting on a template. So let's go to Template, Save As, and we can call this one Lifting Hole 2 because I already have one. OK, close and OK. For the other two panels, we don't need to go to Miscellaneous tab and add all the settings again. We just need to select them both. Back to our panel's properties. We need to make sure that we check off the option for all panel. It means that these changes are going to be applied to all the panels that we have selected. Now we can go to Template, select Lifting Hole 2, set it as active, close and OK. It will regenerate both panels and apply these changes. 2 lifting holes for panel number 5, 30% of the panel length from the center of gravity. And both of them are 1.5 inches. And for panel number 6, one hole is 1.5 inch and the other one is 1 inches. The other new feature that has been added to MWF is for opening markers. For wood-bearing beam, top of window, and top of panel marker, right now you can apply different number of jacks and kings on the left and right side. When you add the settings for the number of jacks and kings here on the tops, then you can apply different sections for the right and left members. Let's switch back to Revit and take a closer look at this one. Right now we have the default marker applied to both panels that we have in here. But when we go to Marker Manager, if I scroll down for our openings, we have wood-bearing beam top of panel and wood-bearing beam top of opening. Let's double click here. And on the left side, you can increase the number of jacks and number of kings. You can also set the jack to 0 and keep the kings here for the right side. So in this example, we have 2 jacks, 2 kings, 2 jacks and 2 kings for the left side, and 0 jacks and 3 kings for the right side. If I select the option for same here on the bottom, so on the bottom, you can set the family for the horizontals, for the headers, and when you select that member, that will be highlighted in the model, header, seals, and jacks. When we select jacks, 2x6 is going to be applied to the jacks of this panel. Why? Because we have checked off the option for same. When we say same, one section is going to be applied to all of them. We have the same option for kings. Same is selected, so same option is going to be applied to all the kings that we have here on the panel. But when we uncheck same, then the items for the right and left will be activated. When we select right, we don't have any jacks on the right side, so it will be empty. But if we switch to left, 2 jacks has been selected here, and we will have 2 numbers here on the bottom. This is going to be left jack number 1 and left jack number 2. And you can apply different remissive dimension lumber sections to these different members. So the first one is 2x6, and let's say that the second one is going to be a 2x4. Same thing for the kings. So on the right side, we have 3 kings. The first one is 2 by 6. The second one is 2 by 4. And the last one is 2 by 6 again. Now we can switch to left side and we can apply sections to them. Now that settings are added, we can click on OK. Our marker has been updated. OK and OK. Let's make sure that this marker has been applied to this opening. So we just need to select the opening in the markers drop down. Yes, wood bearing beam top of opening has been applied here. So we just need to regenerate this panel to check all the changes. I forgot to change the seal. Can go back and change it, but we have 2 jacks on the left side, 2 kings on the left side, and 3 kings on the right side. Let's just go back in there and quickly change the seal family. So top of opening, here it's I might have changed it accidentally, so let's set it to 2 by 6, OK and OK, and we just need to regenerate our panel. And done. Let's try the other option here. Back to Marker Manager, and this time it's going to be bearing beam top of panel. With bearing beam top of panel, just double click. We can increase the number of jacks to maybe 2 for the left side, just 1 king on the left side, and 0 jacks on the right side, and 3 kings. On the bottom, we have these same options checked by default. We can remove them. The right side, we have set the jacks to 0, so nothing is shown here. And on the left side, there are 2 jacks. So we can add 2 settings here. One is 2 by 6, and the other one maybe 2 by 4 or 2 by 3. And for the king, we can keep this one checked. So we don't need to always have these 2 checked or unchecked at the same time. You can just keep one of them checked and the other one unchecked. Let's click on OK. Select the window. Back to markers drop down. Wood bearing beam top of the panel and OK. And regen. Two jacks and 1 king on the left side and 3 kings here on the right side. Another feature that has been added is for hole series. In our hole series command, you can create a new hole type, and there's also a new placement feature for directional holes. With this new feature, you can point the direction of the members of your panel. Now let's switch back to Revit. We just need to select one member of the panel, and let's go back to Panel's Properties in Miscellaneous tab and Hole Series. Here in Edit Hole Types tab, in the drop-down for type, we can select Composite Holes, and we need to assign a name to this hole type. As soon as we assign a name, we can click on Add. As far as this line is highlighted for our hole type, we can click on Edit Shape. Composite hole is a combination of a slot hole and a rectangular hole. When you click on Edit Shape, here you can add all the settings for these 2 hole types. Now we can click on Add, and this hole type is added for all the panels in our project. For the placement features, you can select any of the options that we have here on the left side. Let's go and this time try it with the horizontally spaced. First, we need to add the start offset. Let's go and say it's 2,4. It's going to be calculated from the start point of our panel. The spacing, we just need to try. We are going to just try to place one on the top track and one on the bottom track. So let's add the spacing to 25. We can select the hole type, and we can keep the edge clearance and depth offset to 0. And add, save, and OK. This is how the hole looks like from the front view. But if we go back here to the 3D view, you will see that this is a combination of a slot hole and a rectangular hole. This is a new hole type like any other hole type that we had. So you can either place it through panels properties, or you can also try and place it with marker lines. So let's go to our markers dropdown and create a marker line. It's going to be a vertical marker line and with the maximum spacing of 8 feet. On the right side for the hole series, we can assign this hole type for this line. Let's click on OK. The line is exactly added to in the center of our opening, so we can just manually move it on the side. And now we can regenerate our panel. The same hole type has been added to our panel through marker line. The next thing that we are going to try is the directional hole. So we can go back to our panel's properties in miscellaneous tab and in hole series. When you scroll down on the list on the left side, you will see directional holes. Like any other feature that we have here on the list, first we need to create a hole type, and then we can place that hole type with one command that we have. Let's go ahead and select a void hole and add. If you would like to change the description or edit the shape for the void hole, you just need to highlight it and click on Edit Shape. Now we can scroll down on the list and select Directional Hole. You can select the hole type. It's going to be VH. The offset is going to be 6 inches from the start point with a depth of 1 inch. The hole side, you can select if you are going to place it on the exterior side, interior side, panel front side, or panel back side. With this new directional hole, we are pointing the direction of our panel members. So let's go ahead and select interior for this example. And then you can also select the members that you would like to place this hole on. Top track, bottom track, headers, and seals. You can select them all, or you can unselect the ones that you don't want to have. Just click on Add, and it will be added to the bottom of our list. Then we say Save and OK. I just need to zoom in, and you will see the hole that is pointing the direction of our members from the interior side of the panel. For the top track, bottom track, header members, and the seal. The next option that has been added in our build is for member positioning. We have different labeling methods in MWF. BMSF label is automatically generated for all the members of your panel. BMSF schedule label, you can run add member distribution, and it will be generated for all the members of your panel. BMSF label and BMSF schedule label are both panel-wise. But we also have member positioning, which is project-wise. When we run member positioning, MWF will find all the identical members that we have in the entire project, and it will assign the same label to them. When we say all the identical members, these identical members are based on the comparers that you select. Let's go back, comparers that you select. Let's go back to Revit. And here in the first project that we tried for the notching, we can go to output options, and we have member positioning here. We are just running member positioning for the walls, so we can uncheck floors. And here on the left side, we have the list of available comparers. We can compare them by their family type, member length, member level, member tag, punches, and these two are new on the list of comparers, panel ID, and also holes and notches. So we can add them here. On the right side, we can change the minimum number of digits, the digits of the position name. So we don't have that many panels in this project. We don't need to have 4 digits. We can just add 2. And here for the position name, you can just add position and then the number, or we can just say PO and then the number. We can run member positioning. It is running it for 146 members that we have in this panel. This is done. We can check the table. So these are the positioning names, and these are the number of members that we have with this positioning name. We can close, and as soon as we say save, if we select a member in this project, you will see the position ID and the position name for that specific member. And the last feature that has been added is for shop drawings. New dimension styles has been added on floor plan view and also side view template that we have in our shop drawings. Let's switch back to our Revit, back to drawing operations, wall drawing managers. Double click on type A. In the settings that we have created, this is a really simple setting. We just have 3 view options. The first one is elevation view, so let's double click. For the view annotations, when we scroll down on dimensions, 2 new options are added here for left shearing bounds and right shearing bounds. These 2 new options are for our multi-layer panel. When these 2 options are added or are selected, checked, if I switch to view settings in dimensions, both of them we can apply different settings for both of them here. The first one is for left shearing bound. You can set the dimension style and the offset. And the second one is right shearing bound. Again, we can add the dimension style and the offset. Let's click on OK. And the next one is floor plan view. Again, I just need to double click on floor plan view. For the dimensions, 3 new options are added here. The first one is interior wall symbol. With this symbol, we can point at the interior side of our panel. The second one is bottom shearing bounds. And the last one is top shearing bounds. Same options that we also had on our elevation view. Again, we just need to go to view settings for dimensions. The first one for place interior wall symbol, you can add the size for the symbol. You can also apply an offset and you can change the color. So you can select any color that you want for the symbol that you are adding. Let's add purple. And again, for the bottom shearing bound and top shearing bound, you can add the dimension style and the offset. The last one is for side view. Again, for the side view, you can select interior wall symbol, left shearing bound, and right shearing bound. If I switch to settings in dimensions, you will have these settings available. Let's click on OK. If I go to sheets in multi-layers, these 3 views has been applied to our sheet. You can click on OK and close. I just need to select panel 1 and generate shop drawing with our type A setting. If I go to panel 1 sheet, here we have the lifting hole indicators and the dimensions for our shearing bounds. We have the dimensions on the elevation view, floor plan view, and our side view. And here you can also check the indicators for the interior side of our panel. Let's go back and try generating shop drawing for panel 2 as well. Panel 2, and we have the same dimensions and symbols here as well. So that was it for today, and thank you everyone for joining our webinar.